Our last and presumably final, unless another class comes out, um, class video is the Witch Hunter. The Witch Hunter is part of, you guessed it, the Witch Hunter DLC, and is the other DLC class in Heroes of Hammerwatch. The Witch Hunter is a pretty interesting character, and they could shift to either be a primary or skill build character, similar to the Priest. I will say, I do not have a lot of experience in the Witch Hunter, so take this all as my opinion, and not necessarily fact of any sort. But yeah, let's talk about the Witch Hunter. Witch Hunter. Primary skill is called the Repeater Crossbow. Fires 4 bolts in quick succession. This does not change, it's always 4 bolts. But the damage they deal and the ignore on the armor that they have goes up as you go. They do lose damage as they pierce through enemies, but they do pierce through enemies. Capping out at 30% armor pierce with 20 damage. All in all, the armor pierce, in my mind, and I'll talk about this probably later, adds some potential, if you will, but I'll talk about it later for some stuff. Your first skill is called Flaming Hounds. It's a bouncing Flaming Hound. As it bounces, I think the damage increases. Passes forward in a direction, explodes when bouncing, dealing 15 magical damage, which is increased by 50% with each bounce. So 35 increased by 50% each bounce is actually going to do a fair amount of damage here once you have it to the final level. So I think it bounces, it's either 3 or 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the fifth one is the final explosion. So assuming it's 50% and then 100% and then 150% and then, you know, whatever, you're going to end up dealing 200% extra damage, which means this hits for around a little over 100. But yeah, that's Flaming Hounds. Not much to say about that because I don't have a lot of experience with it. I mainly play primary build Witch Hunter, but if you're playing skill build, this will be phenomenal. Next you have Branding Ward, which is basically a trap you lay down on the ground, and when enemies walk over it, it explodes, dealing damage, and they get branded for 3 seconds. When they're branded, they take extra damage, 100% at all levels, and yeah, self-explanatory. Damage goes up as you level it. The brand duration goes up, and the max amount you can place goes up. So you start with only 4 possible, but you max out at 10. You won't see this used a lot in boss fights, I'm guessing. Maybe in the 5th boss fight, or first, second, potentially 3rd, potentially 4th. You can use this in a lot of them. I don't think you can use it on Thunder Snow effectively, but it's a pretty good skill either way. I haven't used this a lot either, but you can definitely use it to trap hallways. And one of the ways I think you play the Witch Hunter, which I definitely could be wrong about this, is you combo these 3 skills together. So let's talk about Witch Pyre first, and then we'll get to that strategy I'm talking about in a second. This is similar to the Gladiators thing. It's like a summon of sorts, but it's stationary. Its duration stays the same, it looks like, per level. But it gains health, armor, and resistance as you level it up. And anyone that's near it, that hits it, takes damage. And enemies near it also burn. So at the final level, anyone who hits it takes 120 damage, and anyone close to it burns. It has 700 health, which is more than the Gladiators, but the same armor resistance of 30. This is essentially a tank that you just place on the ground. So the thing you could do, if we'll treat this like a hallway, this staircase. You could place like a trap here, fire pit here, and then you would stand up here and just cast the Flaming Hounds. As long as you bait people towards this, it has a lot of potential to do a lot of damage for you. But these skills work really well in succession. You can also do it with the primary, but your skills are not going to be hitting as hard, so it's not going to have quite the same effect. Your first passive is called Fanatic Zeal, which is super nice. You generate stacks of Fanatic Zeal whenever casting a skill, which just gives you crit hit chance. I don't think it does anything else. Yeah, all attacks and skills get crit hit chance. Maximum 4 stacks. Each stack lasts 4 seconds. When you max it out, you have maximum 8 stacks, each one lasting 8 seconds. As you can see, those stacks from earlier are still going down. This is great. 2.5% crit times 8 is great. We'll go ahead and get it to max stacks real quick to show you the power of it. I have 15% crit. I now have 32% crit. I more than doubled it, just like that. That's huge. Especially with crit damage modifiers, this will make you do a lot more damage. It's great, even if you're running primary, you still have time to spam out skills to get the extra damage to take advantage of it. Next you have a murder of crows, which is I believe it's an actual term for quantifying a number of crows. This releases crows when you take damage, and they defend you. It doesn't say anything about their stats, but they do have health. They can be killed. They don't do too much damage. This ability is useful. I only have 1 point in it, but the main reason for that was I played Witch Hunter and I realized I think the main skills you want are these two, and this one, and a point in this one. And that reason being I'm playing primary build, so I only need this for damage. This is a tank I can place down if I need to run away. This increases my damage, and this is a tank that naturally activates when I take damage so I can walk away. So these two skills are very defensive, and as such, the Witch Hunter has a pretty defensive playstyle that you can play with. It's pretty nice. Your final passive is a Searing Torch, which throws a torch towards a random nearby enemy whenever you cast a skill. It does 60 magic damage and applies burning, and I think the final one does 120, applies burning. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that's different. Yeah, so this basically just takes Flaming Hounds and adds more damage to it. It's very similar to the Wizard's first passive, except it's instantaneous damage. Yeah, I never thought about it. I want to learn this real quick because I'm curious. On the Wizard, skill includes your primary attack. No. I don't know. But yeah, this is nice to have, especially if you're playing skill build. I don't have a lot of experience with skill build, so I'll talk about what I know about Witch Hunter, which is the basics of starting off and what order I would do things. I would probably, let's see, I would put a point into repeater crossbow and Fanatic Zeal at tier 1. At tier 2, I would put a point into repeater crossbow and then Murder of Crows and then Fanatic Zeal. Tier 3, I would do crossbow again, and then Witchpire, and then Zeal, and then repeater crossbow, Zeal, repeater crossbow, Zeal. In practice, though, I would say the most important thing is max this first, put a point in this, put a point in this. That's it. Fanatic Zeal adds damage, but this adds more damage, I would say, than Fanatic Zeal does. So I would max this. I'd max this second, but I would put a point into each one of these first. Second. I would max this first, do this second, and do this third, or vice versa. You could do this third and this second. Max this next. And then if you're playing primary build, I don't think you really need to do anything else, but you can definitely max this out and max this out. If you're playing a skill build, I'd say you max this out first, this second, this third, and then this last. And that's all I have to say about the skills. I don't have any experience with the skill build, so I could be totally wrong on that, but just from looking at the skills and what they do and their damage, that seems like the most appropriate way to play the Witch Hunter to do tons of damage. So that's how I would do it. And next we'll look at the chapel. As you can see, my marks are still here lying in wait for enemies. But yeah, the blessings in the chapel are, I have them set up for a primary build, but you can do something different if you're doing a skill build. The only things that will change though, or the only thing that, or things actually, that would change is you could take Path of the Magician if you're running skill build here instead of Path of the Defender. And you could take Symbol of Focus instead of Symbol of Essence. But I definitely recommend Defender. Taking less damage, huge for everyone. Super nice. If you're not worried about damage, you can take this if you're running a skill build, like I said before. But in general, I'd say Path of the Defender is what you take here. In either case, you're going to want to take magical damage, piercing through resistance. It's just nice. If you're running primary, you're going to have Incendiary Demise, which is magic damage. If you're running a skill build, you'll deal magic damage with your skills. So either way, you're dealing magic damage. Which is kind of ironic since they're a witch hunter. Yeah. If you're running primary build, you're going to take Symbol of Essence here for extra lifesteal on your primary attack. If you're running a skill build, you're going to want the crit damage on your skills. And in either case, your primary attack matches Divine Hammer the best, so you're always going to take this. Now, what I said earlier with the primary attack piercing armor is you could take this. I don't know how these stack. I'm assuming they stack like other things in Heroes of Hammerwatch do. So if you have two, I think this is what, 30%? So if you had 30% and 20%, it would take away 30%, and then 20% of what's left of 70%. You'd end up with something a little bit above half armor on the enemy. You have something called Judgment, which is an item that does % health damage that's physical. That would help your damage skyrocket against bosses. If you got the other item, I think it's Stinger that pierces armor. You could also get more pierce above 50% and just do tons of damage. I think that has potential, but you'd have to go Judgment, which is a little weird. I haven't tested it myself. It's just a proposed build in my head. So feel free to try it if you want to, and get back to me if you want to. But yeah, potential. But Incendiary Demise is something you don't want to pass up on. As you can see, 40 magic damage, woo, on your primary attack. That's huge. You're almost always going to take this if you're running primary. If you're running skill, it'll be a little bit different. I'll go over the primary drinks first, and then the skill drinks after. For primary, you're going to take Incendiary, of course. And then Frenetic and Wicked Sickness if you're running a combo build. If not, you take Markham's Moonshine instead of those two. And then you're going to take Overflowing Physique for extra health so you don't die. And then if you're running the combo build, you only get one drink, so you pick one from these three I would recommend. You could also take Enchanted Slammer here. And then if you're running the Markham's Moonshine, you choose between these, I would say 4. Enchanted Slammer is really nice because you have Armor Pierce, so definitely a potential here. But yeah, that's what I do for drinks for primary. If you're going skill, you're going to take a Frenetic Eruption and Wicked Sickness if you're going combo variant with Evil Infusion. If you're not doing combo, you're going to skip out on Frenetic and Wicked, and you're going to go Markham's Moonshine with Evil Infusion. In both cases, you take these two, the Starlight Singer and Elemental Bruiser, and I would recommend personally Hairy Magus for the last drink if you're not going combo build. If you're going combo build, you're already maxed out. For items, I'll talk about both again. I would recommend going the crit item because you already have such high crit chance. Getting more is going to be nice. And the luck item to further utilize that crit on the Witch Hunter. So I would go Heartseeker and Lucky Hat on primary. And I would go Lucky Hat and Staff of Volatile Casting on skill build. Like I said before, if you want to try out the Judgment build, you would definitely take Markham's Moonshine. You wouldn't go combo build for that one, I don't think. And I would go Judgment Heartseeker on that one. I would also take Enchanted Slammer on that one, for sure. I'd probably take Crazy Cat's Eye, Crazy Eye, Enchanted Slammer, Markham's Moonshine, Overflowing Physique, and Incendiary Demise. And then Heartseeker and Judgment for items on that one. That's not a build I would recommend for everyone to take. It's just some crazy build in my head. But yeah, usually take Heartseeker, Lucky Hat if you're going primary, and Lucky Hat and Staff of Volatile Casting on skill build. If you're playing primary, another important item is Assassin's Dagger. Skill build, another important item is Staff of Unstable Casting, which is here. And then for both of them, the luck items, Lucky Horseshoe and Lucky Charm, are both really good. Lastly, we'll talk about statues. For primary build, you can do something, you're going to take Callus for sure, all the time, every time. I'd take Callus here. I'd take Kira for sure. From the start, I'd probably go... I wouldn't go Bolgarth because you're probably not going to proc Combo Blast on anyone near you. So I'd probably go something like Ozrath for just extra poison damage, which eventually will turn into extra damage, but at low statue levels, not so much. I don't know, Falarath. I don't think anyone else is really great here. You could go Duran, because burning enemies, you do a lot of burning damage, so you very well could go this one for extra damage. I'd actually probably recommend Duran over Falarath for the Witch Hunter. You also have a chance to inflict bleeding, which is nice. If you're running skill build, you're going to take Cedric every single time for sure. I would recommend taking Kira early on because you're going to be using your primary still. But later on, when you're using mainly your Flaming Hounds, you're going to want to take Wilmer here. And then for the last one, you're going to want to take Ozrath or Duran. Duran? I don't know. One of those. Preferably Ozrath if you have a higher level statue. But if you don't have a higher level statue, Duran's probably comparable. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend for the Witch Hunter. I'm amazed they got this one done so early, but I think that's because I haven't played too much Witch Hunter, so I don't have too much to talk about because I don't have a lot of experience. That being said, I probably messed up on some things in terms of stuff you guys may or may not know better than me. So if you do know something better than me, or you have a point to make or something like that, please leave a comment down below so people can learn from it. The other thing is, if you do try out that Judgment build at any point, please let me know. I haven't done it yet, but I don't play Witch Hunter a lot, so there's a chance you may do it before me. So please do let me know. And geez, I think that's it. This was a fast one. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, remember to comment if you have any information. I do want this to be as informative as it can be for everyone. So I do appreciate it if you do leave one. All right. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.